Welcome, everyone. Today's Real Skills workshop for being calm and confident is feel confident with your financial energy. Yeah, we've picked a perfect, challenging time to do this, haven't we?
Well, it was intentional because we imagined that for many people, this is a challenging time around financial energy. Um, I'm Kathy Vertilli from the Intimacy Dojo and ThrivingNow.com, and here with the amazing Rick Wilkes from ThrivingNow.com. I just, for the recording, um, I think that so much is happening in the world that even a lot of people were uncomfortable and uneasy around money anyway. Then COVID hit, and people are like, oh, is that going to be a big impact? Now we have Ukraine, which, sending my prayers to them and good wishes. And people aren't sure what's going to happen. Inflation is coming on. We're like, oh, what is this gonna? What is our life going to be like? Humans we like to know we have some security. We want to be able to predict forward. How am I going to be financially as time goes forward? We love to predict that. And right now there's some uncertainties and things we don't have control over. So it's really common to be less certain and less easeful about our financial energy. So
Mhm.
the fact that you're here, I just want to congratulate you. A lot of people are feeling the same stress and fear you're feeling, but they're not doing something about it. They're sitting there and worrying. I have people very dear to me that are in this space. They want to call and talk for 2 or 3 hours a day about gas prices and inflation, but they're not changing their energy about it. They're not looking for other solutions. They're just panicky. And they just want to, they're kind of in the hamster loop of panic. So the fact that you're here in a safe space with people that are looking for a better way to be around this, you are giving yourself an amazing gift, and you're giving the other people here a gift too, because we learn better in a group. Our survival brain, which is kind of like, uh-oh, are we going to be all alone? No, we're here together. We're not going to be alone. We have support. We have other people that are working through this, other ideas, and that's going to give you it's going to shift your trajectory in a way that will give you a lot more ease, a lot more options. So I just am really touched and honored by the courage that brings you here, and I want to acknowledge that.
Mhm. The chat is open. When you post in the chat, Kathy and I do our best to remember to keep anonymity, so that we say someone in the chat um, will has brought up a question or shared something, um, and we'll be watching that best we can. I want to say that while today we've got some really concrete things, as Kathy mentioned, there's war and there's inflation. These are things that have been a part of my life. I was born, and by the time I was 4, I was being raised by a single mom who never felt financially confident. It confused me, to be honest. And I think that that's one of the reasons this kind of work is important to me, is that there's an emotional approach here. There are lots of things that talk about how to invest and what to do with your money, and how to beat inflation and how to set a budget and all of those kind of um, tools. Just like, oh, you tap your eyebrow here, you tap your eyebrow here. We have a free guide for EFT tapping. It's at thrivingnow.com/tapping. We're going to be using it today because I believe that um, when we look at our what is helpful, like I'm a very practical person. Kathy and I are both engineers by nature. um, and so, like, for me, I know when I was worried about money constantly, it almost killed me. I had 20 employees. My printing budget for the newsletter and postage was over $50,000 a month. Like, ah, I I fell into a trap that I have done a lot and continue to do a lot to not fall into. And that is to like have the belief that worrying about it makes it better.
We should tap on that because
Worrying about it brings out my resourcefulness. And yes, I'd like to tap on that right now. If this doesn't apply to you, great. For me, it's always a starting point. As I engage around financial stuff, a lot of ancestral things come with it. A lot of cultural things come with it. So
Are you leading it? Can you throw in some the magic talisman about worry too? Because I think that some people
the
have
what?
that.
I,
Um, in my family, if we worry about something enough, we magically make it go away.
ah, well, you
So
can
if I
really tap
worry
in on that
about,
one.
okay,
Okay. So even though I have a bit of this belief
even though I have a bit of this belief,
that if I worry about it,
if I worry about it,
that's a good idea.
that's a good idea.
That'll bring about my resourcefulness.
That will bring about my
It
resourcefulness.
shows I'm taking it seriously,
It shows I'm taking it
no
seriously,
matter how messed up I get emotionally,
no matter how messed up I get emotionally,
no matter how little I sleep because of it.
no matter how little I sleep because of it.
I'm supposed to worry about finances, aren't I?
I'm supposed to worry about finances, aren't I?
Aren't I supposed to worry about finances?
Aren't I supposed to worry about finances?
Eyebrow. It would be so weird to be confident.
It would be so weird to be confident.
Side of the eye. Everyone's worried about money.
Everyone's worried about
Under
money.
the eye. It'd be so weird to not be worried so much.
It'd be so weird not to be worried so
Who
much.
knows? I am kind of weird anyway.
I am weird anyway.
What if I was weirdly confident about finances?
What if I was weirdly confident about finances?
Called on. Worry is not actually a good look for me.
Worry is not actually a good look for
Under
me.
the arm. Twisting my gut about money is not a good look for me.
Twisting my gut about money is not a good look for me.
Twisting my brain around money is not a good look for me.
Twisting my brain around money is not a good look for me.
And right now I'm calming myself a bit.
Yeah.
Go
Would it be okay if I just added do you want to say something about that or add the,
ahead.
okay. So for those of you that have magic talismans of worry, let's just do a tapping. And if you don't, feel free to tap along because you might find that there's hidden pockets you can clear out. Karate chop. Even though my family has a history
Even though my family has a history
of using worry as a magic talisman
of using worry as a magic talisman
to make something go away,
to make something go away,
it doesn't actually work as well as I'd like it to.
it doesn't work for me at all.
And it's a lot of work.
And it's a lot of work.
What if I found a better way to move ahead?
What if I found a better way to move ahead?
What if I had a better way to use my resources?
What if I had a better way to use my resources?
Top of the head. If I worry enough, that thing will never happen.
If I worry enough, that thing will never happen.
Eyebrow, but I really have to worry.
But I really have to worry.
Side of the eye, it has to hurt.
Doesn't it have to hurt?
Under the
Yeah.
eye, otherwise the magic spell doesn't work.
Otherwise, the magic spell doesn't work.
Under the nose, and sometimes that thing doesn't happen.
And sometimes that thing does not happen.
Chin, what if it wasn't because I worried?
What if it wasn't because I worried?
Collarbone, I was just putting all the pain and suffering in.
I've been putting all this pain and suffering in,
Under the arm, and I don't know if that thing would happen or not.
and I don't know if that thing would have happened or not.
Top of the head, what if I could have used that energy to get neutral
Oh, I am so open to using that energy to get neutral
and find better ways to handle this?
and find better ways to handle this.
And just take a breath and notice that. I think when we do this pattern, because I have a lot of evidence in my life from people I've been watching that recently because we knew this call was coming up. It's like we borrow the pain from the future as a way to kind of control it. Maybe a lot of people that are traumatized will try to do this because people who have trauma want to try to control the environment. That's not a bad thing to want to control the environment, but borrowing a possible pain from the future and experiencing it now doesn't actually leave us more resourced. And we feel the pain whether it happens or not. And then if it actually happens, we have the surprise and hurt and pain of it actually happening too. So it's not logical, it doesn't make sense. And I think it's a superstition that comes about maybe because of people that had no other power, people that were really traumatized or young, and that worry became a way to have a sense of control. Which, so we can honor that, okay? So appreciate that some part of me was looking for control. Now we have better ways to use that energy.
Like the chat has inspired me to do a round or two on avoiding
Ah,
avoidance
yes,
because
yes.
yeah, that's not confidence. That's primitive brain saying, no, I don't have enough confidence. I can't stay calm. This is too painful. I'm going to go do everything
I'm
else.
going to clean the closet. I'm going to organize the spaces,
Even though a part of me wants to do anything else
even though part of me wants to do anything else
and everything else
and everything else
than to even think about money like this,
than to even think about money like
to
this,
think about finances,
to think about
to
finances,
think about my financial energy.
to think about my financial energy.
What am I doing?
What am I doing?
Top of the head. I have a history of avoiding this
I have a history of avoiding this.
eyebrows. Sometimes I have really avoided looking at my money,
Sometimes I have really avoided looking at my money,
avoided looking at my finances
avoided looking at my
under the eye,
finances,
avoided looking at it at all.
avoided looking at it at
And
all.
that's so smart.
That's so smart.
That's why I'm confidencing myself now.
That's why I'm confidencing myself now.
Calm, and that's why I'm calming myself down now
That's why I'm calming myself down
under
now.
the arm. Under the arm. That's why I'm looking at my beliefs today.
That's why I'm looking at my beliefs today.
I'd really like to feel more ease with my financial energy.
I would really like to feel more ease with my financial energy.
Ugh. Maybe rub your hand. If that feels good to you, rub your hands together, maybe squeeze them together. Again, part of the real skill of calm and confidence is that we learn like what are the things that cause me to be anxious and I calm myself down. And then what are the ways that I avoid and don't drop in to engage body, mind, and my resources with something that's important. Um, and so tapping is a part of that, but also physical movement. Like sometimes, like if I'm feeling worried or I'm feeling like I want to do anything else, I'm not really in my body. If I do some tapping, I can find that, oh, parts of me start showing up, like, oh, my hands, oh, I have legs. Wow, my feet are back.
What a concept.
uh, and if that's your like part of your style, that kind of disconnection, floated, dissociated thing, that's really useful. And we believe, since we're doing emotional work, physio emotional work, that if that's your pattern and you bring something physical into it with an intention, okay. Notice I just kind of bounced in my chair. My chair is solid enough to do that. I got my feet on the floor, maybe like, you're getting more into your tissues. Money, especially these days where it's not an ounce of gold in your pocket, it's it's very ephemeral, right? And our emotions and fears are activating powerful chemicals and like taking us out of our body. That's a trick to take. It uses a lot of energy to kind of dissociate and come out of our body. Oh, I'm not going to deal with this. I'm going to do something else.
Yeah, and one of the things that one of the very first times I heard Rick speak, he was talking about the vibrational scale and how we go up the vibrational scale. And so many of us are reaching for this really high state of calm confidence, like, oh, I've got this handled. And I think it's really important that, he talked a lot about going to neutral first and taking baby steps there. So like if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, like when I think about being really confident about something I'm not confident about, I feel like it's too big and I just push it away.
Mhm.
Versus what if I could be a little awkward with this and try it, but I just want to do it from a little more neutral space where it's not an intensity of fear, but like, oh, what if I was a little curious or just a little calm and just rather than I'm going to fix my whole financial plan in the next day, which is like, oh my goodness, I haven't done this in years. What if I just sat down and opened one account while I tapped and just looked at that and like got my balance there or took care of one thing I needed to? The thing is, I love to train our system to do things differently. And to do that, we often have to give it small doses of competence or calmness and not overwhelm it and associate it with, like, oh, look, I did this thing. I can be gentle and congratulate myself. And maybe I have a friend that I've done this with, like, some of my taxes were complicated a couple of years. I'm like, Rick, I feel a little scared. Can you just be on Zoom with me and just make sure I'm not messing this up? Just so, like, ask a buddy or tap, but just like, but we don't have to go from 0 to 60. We can go from 0 to 10 or 2, and even that little bit of momentum is going to give us a shift in where we are. So I just invite you, if you're feeling a little overwhelmed about, I have to go all the way to confidence, no, you just have to shift your trajectory just a little bit and start teaching your system that money is not so scary.
Yeah, and you so that gives gives me an example to build on. Um, when we're confidencing ourselves, what we're doing is we're inviting our primitive brain to calm down and for our resources to rise. Now, what's a human resource? Curiosity. Like, I really don't know where money came from, how it's actually, like, I don't understand money as a technology these days. It seems very obtuse. Like, what's going on here? Now, if I'm approaching that as fear, it's hard to have confidence. Confidence, as in an activated energy, like I'm tapping into my resource, curiosity. Um, Another resource is resilience. Like, I've been through some tough times, tough moments. And if that's true for you, you can be like, and now I'm learning how to bring more calm into that kind of capacity. I know someone who knows how to squeeze a penny and turn it into a dime. And like, wow, you apply that same kind of skill with more calm confidence rather than survival fear, your world starts looking a little different. And confidence isn't like based upon knowing it all. Because I will say, when it comes to money and finances, I've been an entrepreneur since I was needing 25 cents for an order of fries that I didn't have, and started to figure out ways to make money. It's been a long time. Um, and the more that you know, the more you realize that there's so much. It's a bit like the emotional world, the sexual world, the love relating world. They go on forever. But curiosity and can say, like, what's important to me right now for my well-being. Financial energy for this workshop, I'm putting it in the context of things that you do that are to bring financial resource to you, for example. So you can use your financial energy, like I am right now, to do something that has the possibility of bringing money into me and my family.
Mhm.
So that's one way. It can be around investment. Like, where do you put your energy? Perhaps it's in education. You all have invested in your time and energy in this. So, like, education related to finances is financial energy. You're putting on that energy field. Oh, we're gauging around money. It can also be investment in companies or your own business or anything like that, but it's related to money and finances. It can be related to how you spend and like the systems you follow for how money flows into your world and how it flows out. So that's financial energy. It takes a certain kind of states of being to do that. Um, and also like the saving for the future self. We talked about that in the last workshop. If you haven't seen that one, I highly recommend it. It's out on Thriving Now dot center. Um, Being aware that you exist now and you have needs now, and there's a version of you that wants breakfast tomorrow, probably, or at least some meal and a warm something, some clothes to wear, and that person extends out into the future. And how you save for yourself and the people that that you also want to offer things for is also part of that financial energy. It's There's a lot there, isn't there? And um, again, just as a reminder, I believe, and I'll assert that humans, if they're in their primitive brain, are acting out of survival. If your primitive brain is there, but calm enough so that you feel like, oh, okay, I'm not in immediate fight, flight, freeze, panic, um, despair. If you're not in one of those kinds of modes, well, now you've got 1,000 options, and you can start opening to and letting your intuition and your body guidance and other things be a party to it. If we're in primitive brain survival, we make primitive brain survival kinds of decisions. It's lots of evidence to that. I assert that that is true. And I've been there. Um, uh, and the more that we recognize that we're there and apply some skill, some active skill, like, oh, I need to calm myself. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to build up some energy. I'm going to look at it again differently. It, you can take a bank balance. Try this sometime. If you tend to be toward some mode, a bill of rise or a bank balance, look at it and then walk away and just do 3 minutes of tapping around this energy of I call myself and I'm just adding a little confidence to the mix, and come back and look at it and notice if it looks different. I have looked at the exact same bank balance and had it seem like shit and possibility, like so different, just from the state of me engaging with it. And I think it's an amazing experience when you realize how much um, these energies, these financial energies, your business, your work in the world, your future financially looks depending on your state of being.
Yeah. And I think it's also important to remember that our survival brain is generally not thinking long term. It's thinking about
It
surviving
can.
this moment.
Yeah.
And so like our decisions may not be the best ones we can like long term. And I had to do a little bit of, I maybe do some tapping on this if you think, Rick, but I had to forgive myself because a lot of me blamed myself. I've done a lot of coaching and therapy and other things that to help, classes to help myself deal with trauma and get through stuff. And I spent money and time on that. And there was part of me that was like looking at what I should, quote unquote, have saved, and I didn't have that much savings. I was still saving some money, but I wasn't saving what I thought I should. And I had to realize that I was doing the right thing for my overall well-being, but it just wasn't showing up in the bank account, if that makes sense.
It does. Yeah. Do you want to? It starts touching on the beliefs. So um, with beliefs, if somebody else brings it up, like Kathy just did, like this belief that I should have saved more, I shouldn't have spent that, I shouldn't be in debt. Um, Notice there's often a should
Hmm.
or a have to related to beliefs. Those are clues like, oh, belief coming. Um, and how would you state this belief?
I
I
should have,
should,
yeah, I should have done it differently. I think there's often a conflict between our younger self, our present self, and our future self. And there can be a number of future selves, a number of, I have different aspects, different days and present, and then younger selves, like different parts. But like often I will be planning for the future, like the near future, and I'm like, I'm just going to be really strict with my money for a year, and that will really help me fix, get some money saved. But really, what I'm doing is I'm fighting with my future self and kind of depriving her of a balance. And I sometimes resent my younger self for what I spent money on. There were times when I was really distressed and I would order food in, and I'm like, but that's not in budget. But I really needed the comfort of someone bringing me something then. So, like, I think it's about balancing all our future, our current, and our past selves, and
Mm.
just having some compassion for the choices we made in the past. So, karate
So just
chop.
checking in with your body. How intense does that feel to you? How much does it apply? You know, and let's do some tapping together. Go ahead.
Yeah, karate chop. Even though part of me is really resentful at my younger self.
Even though part of me is really resentful to my younger self, past self is what I'm calling
Yeah.
him.
How could she spend so much money?
How could you spend money like that?
Why did you not save more?
Why didn't you save more?
Why didn't you make better decisions?
Why didn't you make better decisions?
Now I'm struggling because you left me with a mess.
Now I'm struggling because you didn't leave me with enough.
And I'm really angry at you.
I'm really angry at you.
Top of the head, I don't know if it's useful to be angry at you.
Don't know if it's useful to be angry at you, but I am.
Yeah, eyebrow, I can feel and acknowledge that energy.
I can feel and acknowledge that energy.
Side of the eye. And what if I also noticed that you might have been doing the best you could?
And I do notice that you were doing the best you could, as
Uh,
pathetic as that feels right this minute.
Under the eye, you had limited knowledge.
Had limited knowledge and serious needs.
Under the nose, you had a lot of emotions going on.
Had a lot of emotions going on.
Chin, and I do have the benefit of knowing how things worked out.
And I do have the benefit of knowing how things worked out.
Collarbone, that does make it easier to judge you.
That does make it easier to judge you.
Under the arm, what if I can send some compassion back to my past self?
What if I could send some compassion back to my past self
Top of the head, and let that part of me know I know they did their best.
and let that part of me know I see it differently now?
Yeah. Just take a breath and see if just, even
Hmm.
if it's like a small breath of air, cracking the door 1%, if it gives a little bit of ease. Because I know when I'm in conflict with myself and there's that anger, resentment, blame, like, and I'm not saying you shouldn't feel those feelings, feel what you feel and tap through it, but like, if I can just see a little compassion, remember it is very easy to judge ourselves based on our current knowledge. I do a lot of inner tapping with younger selves, and people are always like, she should have, or he should have, or they should have known this, and I'm like, they were 3, how would they know this? And it's like very easy for us to put our adult minds in that younger self with all our experience, but in the moment, like 5 years from now, we might be looking back and going, "Why didn't I invest in XYZ? Why didn't I save money?" Like, but we don't know. We can't see the picture, and that future self is like, "Yes, of course, that was obvious because they've been through it."
Even though
So
it was obvious.
even though it was obvious,
Why didn't I?
why didn't I?
Everything would be fine now.
Everything would be fine
All
now.
my problems would be over.
All my problems would be over.
Why didn't I?
Why didn't I?
Top of the head. Why didn't I?
Why didn't I?
Eyebrow. Yeah. Why didn't I?
Why didn't I?
Was I scared?
Was I scared?
Under the eye, was I unclear?
Was I unclear?
Under the nose, did it not fit my profile?
Did it not fit my profile?
Chin, was I frozen?
Was I frozen?
Called, could I not handle a loss?
Could I not handle a loss?
Getting it wrong.
Getting it wrong?
Under the arm. In retrospect, it seems so clear.
In retrospect, it seems so clear.
I just need my time machine to go back and invest
I just need my time machine to go back and invest
or not invest.
or not invest.
Yeah. So notice what we're doing. we're tapping on some general themes. For you, you might be flashing to very specific events. So my flashes are to situations which feel familiar to me. They don't have a lot of intensity because I've tapped on them before. And it doesn't mean that they're still not markers that hold the energy of I should have or I shouldn't have. I like Kathy's talking about resentment toward my past self. Um, these past markers can be like that. It can also be the person that was last year or last month or last week. Oh, I should have. When you notice something like that, and I think with money and financial energy, it is virtually impossible for most sensitive people to go through life and not have realized that something passed through as a yes that I didn't take advantage of. Something passed through as a this is going to be big and I'm not ready to go there yet. Or this is something I really shouldn't have, but damn, if this works out, I'll I won't hate myself so much, you know. Whatever it is, like to go through life means that we collect some of those. If we're going to be confident with our financial energy, I don't think it can come from being dishonest with ourselves when an emotion comes up. Like, I can't believe it. I knew Tesla was going to be big, right? Like I did. I knew also that it was very high risk, and at the time, um, when I became aware of it, it wasn't a yes for me. So I cheerleaded it. I didn't invest in it. It was not the place where my energy, my financial energy did not belong riding those initial waves and crashes in Tesla valuation. Same with Amazon. Um, and so like you can be aware of things, but if we address them and instead of flinching from how much energy we might have toward our past self, that we release some of it, acknowledge it with truth. Like that's what I love about one of the things I love about tapping is I can be truthful. Like I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I did that. Actually, I can believe I did that. I remember how I was back then. I was really worried about paying the rent. I didn't have $300 to put there. I didn't feel I did. I actually did though. Damn, I can't believe I didn't see that I was more free than I was and I didn't. And it's okay. Today, I want to use my financial energy in ways that are right for me.
I think that the fact, often if we're feeling overwhelmed or scared or uncertain, we want to keep a certain amount of resources near us. It's
Yes.
really common. The survival brain wants to do that. So as we're uncertain, we will try to keep more, like we might keep a little more food in the pantry or a few more pounds on our body, or we want to keep some money close to us. We want to keep those we love close to us because we don't know what the risks are. We don't know what we're going to have to face. So it's hard to invest in Tesla when you're like, but I don't know if I'm going to need this to get me through tomorrow. Like if I give it to this, I love investing because I love the concept of my money helping someone else build something beautiful. That's something I really believe in. But it also, there's part of me that's like, I need to make sure I have enough and I feel secure in where I am before I can worry about risking someone else to do a good job with my money and getting it back to me with hopefully some, a little bit of bonus.
Mm-hmm.
So just if you're struggling around investing, just try to tune in and notice where your survival brain is around this. Is it feeling like it's not safe enough to do this? And then I like to bring in my cognitive brain and go, okay, how can I help my survival brain feel a little safer so I can make logical decisions? I have some good friends that are always petrified. They're with some people dear to me, always they talk about how they're broke all the time. I help them with their financials. They have quite a bit of money. They're actually quite affluent, but they live and act as if they're destitute and going to be kicked out on the street tomorrow. they're not having abundance. Even though they have actually what most people would consider financial abundance, they're not actually having to worry about money probably for the rest of their lives. But they're really scared, and anything like inflation or gas prices triggers that fear so badly to the point where one of them doesn't travel, like goes on a road trip like for 20 miles or 30 miles once a week. And they are like panicking about the gas prices. And I did the math. I mean, your car gets 30 miles a gallon. Okay, so that's 30. So let's say you go 30 miles out and 30 miles back. That's $2 more a week. I know your finances. I know you can handle it. And there's just like, oh no, it's so awful. We're not going to be able to leave the house. So, like, we want to make sure we're balancing that survival brain fear.
Even though I've been in survival brain fear.
Even though I have been in survival brain fear.
And I feel a little uncomfortable hearing Kathy talk like this.
And I feel a little uncomfortable talking to Kathy talk like this.
I want to find the balance that's right for me.
I want to find a balance that's right for me.
Top of the head. I do want to keep resources close.
I do want to keep resources close.
Eyebrow. And I don't want to be so panicked.
And I don't want to be so panicked.
Side of the eye. That's not thriving.
That's not thriving.
Under the eye. And neither is pretending.
And neither is pretending.
No, I want to be real and thriving.
I want to be real and thriving.
Jen, what would that be like?
What would that be like?
Hold on. How would I use my financial energy that way?
How would I use my financial energy that way?
Huh. That would be interesting.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. So Kathy mentioned that finding a buddy who can help you co-regulate, and you can maintain privacy. They don't need to know your business. Sometimes, like Kathy's amazing with helping people that are really in that kind of rigid state, um, to get to the place where they're, not falling off the cliff, um, emotionally. Um, and both of us want more thriving, which is why we appreciate that you're showing up and you're tapping with us, because I believe that there's a lot of noise with finances about what does it take to be like thriving. When I bring that up, what does it take to be thriving financially? Do you immediately go to a number? Because I'm I'm going to invite the possibility that financial energy is a facilitator, not a static number, and I share that from my own experience, that when I thought financial, like safety and freedom, was a number, that was devastating to my sense of thriving. No matter how much I had in the bank, it actually magnified that sense of terror. It went from uncomfortable to I got to solve this to okay, we're getting there, and oh, okay, and then they're actually escalated up into a kind of chronic terror worry. Um, Emotionally, life force wise, financial energy is one of our energies that we have. We have love energy, we have creativity, we have artistry, the things that matter to us. And sometimes we channel that in ways related to money. And so, like, what's your movement around money? Like,
I've had days like that.
let me crawl under the desk,
I don't want to look
right?
at
Like, I like that's a movement. So energy, emotion is energy in motion. So financial energy in motion. What is your movement? And how can we find a dance that feels like thriving to you? Which, for example, um, if any of my financial energy is coated with generosity at all, okay, that's catnip for me. That's my inner cat loves that. I just it's it's frosting. It's something that makes any financial energy um, just it's a fragrance, it's a feel, it's a texture, it's a taste. It hits all of my senses. And I believe that generosity, it doesn't have a dollar on it. It doesn't have a dollar sign on it. I I know that. I'm an energetically sensitive person. And when people are generous with me, I know that the energy comes in very uniquely crafted from other people, and I feel it. It's like, thank you. That's weird because it's not necessarily tied to $50 or $7.11. I picked $7.11 because that's our emotional freedom day, July 11th. It's a number that means a lot to me. It's kind of the start of my freedom path in a powerful way. Um, so these are things that we can do um, that help tune our financial energy, is to take the attention off of, not completely off of, because it's mathematical, it's money, and bring in the emotional crafting. Um, like, oh, how would I like to be with the money that I'm earning, the money that's flowing through? What's the posture that I want to take? It can be it can be strong and upright. It can be fluid. It can be jujitsu. Whatever it is for you, and it can change too. Um, yeah.
I think that's beautiful, and I love the idea of someone wrote the feeling of enoughness, which to me is a sense of generosity from the universe. To me, I feel if I have enough, I can kind of relax into that. So I often like to compare money and oxygen because a lot of people have the same, like, it's a parallel. I need oxygen to breathe, we all do. And I'm trusting the universe to bring me enough oxygen most of the time. There are places I can put myself in situations where it might be hard to get oxygen. There are situations that I might not put myself in that just might happen where I could not have oxygen. But so far in my life, I've pretty much always had enough oxygen. And what if we can, like, that sense of, like, if I'm sitting here worried about enough oxygen, I'm like, all of a sudden it's hard to let it in, and it's
Yeah.
it's stressful and worrisome. And money in our culture is not quite as easy as that, but I think the universe does want us to have generosity. It does want us to feel supported and enough. So I think that if we can just learn to relax, like, teach our nervous system to not be so reactive, we often find new ways to feel enoughness around abundance. And it might be like, okay, like, a lot of people are worried about gas prices and people are driving long ways. Maybe we have to look for other solutions. Maybe it's, hey, boss, the gas prices are so high, I'd like to work from home 1 day a week to help offset that, which might be delightful. Like, maybe there's a win win in that and you can use that as an excuse. Or maybe you meet someone really cool that you could carpool with. There's a fact that the gas prices are going up, and some people are on fixed incomes, or, like, it might seem scary. But if we can calm and not be reactive to it, sometimes we find solutions that are like, wow, I'm so glad the gas prices went up because now I have this new solution that's so much better for me. So we can tap on our fears, we can tap on the pain like, if something doesn't work out, but we can also often find amazing solutions
Mm.
when we're not, as Rick was doing before, like, kind of flailing around trying to get away from it.
So as Kathy was talking, she's inviting an attitude and an energy. What are our yes buts?
Yeah.
Um, so like, what if? What if one of the kids gets hurt? Um,
We can go deeper and deeper down rabbit holes till we haven't covered it somehow, always.
yeah.
What if I live to 205? Oh my God.
even though there are a lot of what ifs.
even though there are a lot of what ifs.
I'd like to be calm and confident anyway.
I'd like to be calm and confident anyway.
If that what if happens,
If that what if happens,
it will draw on my calm,
it will draw on my calm.
and it will draw on my confidence
It will draw on my confidence
and my resilience.
and my resilience.
That's part of my financial energy.
That's part of my financial energy.
And I'm building my resource right now.
And I'm building my resource right now.
Eyebrow. That what if really draws on me.
That what if really draws on me.
Side of the eye. It doesn't make me feel confident.
It doesn't make me feel confident.
Under the eye. It depletes my calm.
It depletes my calm.
Under the nose. I'd like to put my energy elsewhere.
I'd like to put my energy elsewhere.
Chin. There's always a what if you can't prepare for.
There's always a what if you can't prepare for.
And that goes for every aspect.
That goes for every aspect.
So what's the real skill here?
So, what's the real skill here?
Maybe it's to be surprisingly calm.
Maybe it's to be surprisingly calm.
Top of the head. And present.
And present.
And competent with my energy.
And competent with our energy.
Just a little bit more today.
Just a little bit more today.
And a little bit more tomorrow.
And a little bit more tomorrow.
Compound interest for the win.
Compound interest for the win. And I think it is important for us to like kind of look at different possibilities. There is a power in that, oh, I hadn't thought of that. Maybe I can do XYZ to prepare for it. It's when we start getting into the 0.0001% things like it's, and just the things we can't prepare for, that it starts getting really, we start getting tangled. And I'd just like you to notice that if your brain is super clever and super creative to come up with all these what ifs, it's also, if it's in a calm resource state, it's very clever at coming up with solutions too. So, the very brain that's causing you the worry, once we calm it down and get it, like, so it's not flailing around looking for, what if a skunk gets in the car and I crash on the freeway and I hit the president's motorcade and then I'm on national, like, my brain will do that. It goes like, it's like, okay, well, that's not very likely. We can look for skunks in the car, but they don't usually like to ride in the car. And like, okay, how can I use my brain for better uses? How can I calm myself? And if you're having a lot of fear thoughts, just realize your brain probably feels insecure. You can do some gentle breathing and some tapping. Yeah, I get that you're afraid, but we really are taking care of things. We're doing the practical things that need to happen.
I'm reminded that I just want to bring up, if I'm preparing for a catastrophe, I'm that type of person. I engineer around things like those things crop up, but where I've gone with them now is, okay, what is this telling me that matters to me? Oh, okay. So what matters to me is to be a resource for my family's well-being. And that includes, yeah, in times of crisis or survival, but it also includes times of thriving, right? So like I direct financial energy around what matters to me into I call a family freedom fund. Now that's very different energetically for me, because it means that, yeah, it's certainly one of the resources I would tap if one of my children needed something that there's no way that I could foresee or would want to foresee or spend a lot of time thinking about. But also, like, let's say that a gift rises, not just about survival, but what if a gift rises in me or one of my children or my partner, and we want to be free enough so, like, that resource can be something that is a resource, a financial energy resource that you start crafting. And when you get those feelings, you start feeling, you calm yourself so it's not based upon fear as much as clarity. I'm really clear. My future children, my children, or my kin the people I care about, including myself, matter to me. So I want to start channeling some more energy. If it was zero, even 1% of your inflow being channeled into a freedom fund can make a difference. If and so like that's I believe one of the things that emotional work gives us is some hardistry with our energy, that it's not just based upon a number. Because, like Kathy said, I have worked with people whose number is really high, but their sense of thriving is well below people who have 1/1000th or less of what they have. So I
And
love financial energy,
yeah,
and we're crafting it. We're using it in ways that are more conscious. Well, what is this saying? It matters. Where can I where can I flow it in a way that calms calms the sense of like it's asking for more and builds that sense of confidence of resource.
and I'm not saying I actually have a number, but I try not to hold it as when I get there, I will be safe. That's a number that I'm aiming for before I retire because it meets some of the criteria I want where I want abundance to be able to take Adira, his beautiful and Emerald. I want to take them on adventures. They're coming here in August. I'm planning an aquarium trip and I'm trying to find pony rides and like I want to be able to do things with them. So like not have to worry about that. So we're not saying never have a number, but some people have a number and they hold on to it like it's the magic thing that will make us feel safe. And if you're not feeling safe on the way there, you're probably not going to feel this safe there either.
Yeah. Even though a part of me believes I can't feel safe
Even though part of me feels I can't feel safe
until I get this number,
until I get this number,
or this gets dealt with,
or this gets dealt with,
or that gets dealt with,
or that gets dealt with,
or I never have to deal with this ever again.
or I never have to deal with this ever again.
Oh, that one touched a nerve.
I
Um, I accept where I am and how I feel.
accept where I am and how I feel.
I'm in the process of shifting my financial attitude.
I'm in the process of shifting my financial attitude.
Top of the head. I want to feel thriving,
I want to feel thriving
eyebrow, and certainly a bit more calm,
and certainly a bit more calm.
side of the eye. A bit more confidence would be great,
A bit more confidence would be great.
under the eye. But I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
There's a lot of uncertainty here,
There is a lot of uncertainty here,
Jen, and that's okay.
and that's okay.
Hold on. The uncertainty is really human.
The uncertainty is really human.
Under the arm. And sadly, I am not delusional enough
And sadly, I'm not delusional enough
to think I'm in control
to think I'm in
as
control
much as I'd like to be.
as much as I'd like to be.
That doesn't mean I can't influence my energy
That doesn't mean I can't influence my energy
and where it goes.
and where it goes.
Ah,
And we don't have control of the financial markets or inflation, but we can take certain actions. So I like the fact, like, I when I work with people, I often recommend, even if they haven't saved any money towards an emergency fund or whatever, if they can just save 1% of their income or a very small fraction and then gradually increase that, it can make a big difference. And even that little bit of money going into account that's only touched for financial freedom, or I have a like I work in engineering field where things can be really volatile. I want that money for if things go volatile. So it just feels really good for me to have that. And often just the sense, oh, even if I can't save $5,000 a month, I can save $5 a month or $50 a month. And it can change our energy around it. So
mhm.
we don't have control, but if we take action around things that we do have control over, and baby step our way start teaching our system competence around something that can add to our calm and our sense of, hey, maybe I do have something I can do here.
So, um, would you lead us just on a quick tapping? Then we're going to take a 7-minute break. Um, and like maybe there is something I can do here would be good for me heading into the break.
Yeah, so take a nice deep breath. Karate chop. Even though my survival brain wants to have total control around money,
even though my survival brain wants to have total control around money.
and I don't actually have control around everything around money,
And I actually don't have control around everything around money.
there are things I can do to help myself feel competent.
There are things I can do to help myself feel competent.
Even though I really want to do all or nothing,
Even though a part of me wants to do all or nothing,
maybe there are baby steps I can take
there are definitely baby steps I can take.
that might feel really good.
Might feel really good.
Top of that, I have to get it all right now.
I have to get it all right now.
Eyebrow, that's part of my brain's thinking.
Yeah, that's part of what?
My brain's thinking.
Yeah, it's part of my brain's primitive brain's thinking, and it makes me choke.
Side of the eye. What if I just took a small step today?
I am taking a small step today.
Under the eye. In fact, I'm tapping on it right now.
I'm tapping on it right now,
Under the nose, and I can take practical steps.
and I can take practical steps,
Chin, baby steps.
baby steps,
Collarbone, things I can build on.
things that I can build on. Ooh, I like that feeling.
Under the arm. Those positive actions can help increase my calm confidence.
Those positive actions can help increase my calm confidence.
Top of the head. I don't have to do it all today,
I do not have to do it all today.
but I can take a small step today.
I can take a small step today.
Just take a breath and notice how that feels. Sometimes we're pinging back and forth, like from one extreme to the other. I have no control to I have must have total control. It's neither side is actually true, and it can stop us from. It takes a lot of energy, but it can stop us from doing anything. Versus if okay, I'm noticing the needle going back and forth, but I'm gonna just take one small step.
Mm-hmm.
And for me that was like I set aside a automatic when my payment comes in, my paycheck comes in, automatically a certain percentage would go to another bank account where it's not easy for me, like I can get it if I need it, but it's not easy for me to spend it. And
Yeah,
just have that kind of disappear into that safe net felt really good for me because I felt like, oh, I'm doing something to help my future self if she needs that.
yeah.
But whatever your action is.
Thank you. We're going to take a break. For those of you that are watching the recording, we invite you to take a break too. So I'm going to pause the recording now. Welcome back.
Yes.
So during our break, with some messages and some feedback, I'm aware of how tender this is. This really cuts because money is touches everything. It touches our health, touches our survival,
Our
uh,
identity.
our identity. Um, so I'm wondering, Kathy, whether you could lead us through a grounding visualization with tapping, um, to feel okay and present with what emotions are coming up.
Yeah. So I invite you we're just coming back from break, kind of regather your energy here as it feels safe for you. Notice where you're sitting. Notice how your body feels supported. And notice that you don't have to put a lot of effort into it. Imagine the universe is just kind of cradling you in its hands. It's what's supporting your feet and your butt and maybe your back. And just notice whatever clothing is touching you. Just notice that you probably didn't create that clothing. It's there. Someone else created it, and the universe brought it to you. And I like to sometimes imagine that it's the way of the universe kind of hugging me when there's not someone there. And just take a slow, gentle breath if that feels good to you. And just invite you to do a little tapping if you'd like, very gently. If you find your anxiety is coming up, I recommend tapping slower. Sometimes when we're anxious, we'll tap harder and faster, and that can be very stimulating. When I'm trying to go to sleep or trying to calm myself, sometimes I'll touch and breathe in the point. I'll say the point, I'll just touch it and say the phrase back, or I might just
Mhm.
slowly, gently tap as if that I'm comforting myself.
Or
Like,
even massage the points.
yeah.
Something a little different.
Yeah. I sometimes imagine I'm patting a small scared kitten. It's like, it's okay. Slow, gentle taps. So, karate chop. Even though this topic is really stressful,
Even though this topic is really stressful,
I appreciate myself for facing this.
I appreciate myself for facing this.
Even though I can feel quite a bit of anxiety,
Even though I can feel quite a bit of anxiety.
no wonder I've avoided this topic.
No wonder I've avoided this topic.
And I'm so grateful I'm willing to take a peek at it right now.
I'm so grateful I'm willing to take a peek at it right now.
Top of the head. Again, you can just tap or you can hold, whichever feels good, or gentle pats. I'm feeling quite a bit of anxiety.
I'm feeling quite a bit of anxiety.
Eyebrow, my poor body has been having to hold on to this my entire life.
My poor body has had to hold on to this my entire life.
Side of the eye. And right now, I'm facing it with support.
And right now, I'm facing it with support.
Under the eye, that will give my body a lot of ease.
That could give my body a lot of ease.
Under the nose, it doesn't feel like it right this minute.
Doesn't feel like it right this minute.
Chin, but in the long run, I'm processing out this fear.
And in the long run, I am processing out these fears.
Collarbone, I honor my courageous heart.
I honor my courageous heart.
Under the arm, I love my caring brain.
I love my caring brain.
Top of the head, and I celebrate my resilient body.
And I celebrate my resilient body.
This is going to be okay.
It's going to be okay.
And if you want to put your hand on your heart and take just a nice, slow, deep breath. One of the things we encourage you to do is facing our feelings, facing our fears is really important. They don't go away without being noticed and honored, in my experience. One of the things we talk about with tapping is we start with where we are and then we go to where we would like to go. But we don't have to, just like with money, we don't have to do it all at once. We can do I'm going to put 1% in for right now and build up the muscles of feeling these feelings. Some
Mm-hmm.
of us have old traumas, old experiences, or no role modeling at all from our parents on how to face feelings and just kind of like calm ourselves. And so the muscles we're building when we do these small exercises are priceless. I wish we taught them to small children. I see Rick and Jem with their Dira, and she's learning those. And I'm like, oh, I wish someone taught me when I was 15 months. And I had to learn them in my 30s, 40s, 50s. The fact that you're here learning them, please know there's millions, billions of people that will never even have the concept of this. You are what you're doing for yourself, whatever brought you here. There's a grace and an asking in you that brought you here. And the fact that you're doing this really tough work, it for me it's been, the other side of it is just so beautiful and so empowered. And there's rough days just like any time, but there's a sense that I can handle it. I can get to the other side. Just a whole bunch of new possibilities, and you're giving that to yourself. So I just really, if you can, just appreciate, if I'm feeling this anxiety, it's actually been there. I've just learned to kind of probably numb it out. But it's stressing your body this whole time. And now you're like, okay, I'm going to just peek at it, clear a little bit, and I can put it aside. And then peek at it, clear a little bit, put it aside. And you really are building up muscles. So each time you can feel a little bit more, you can clear a little bit faster. You're teaching your system how to clear this out. And that once your system knows that, that's yours for the rest of your life. For all the decades in front of you, you will have this, oh, this is a feeling. It feels awful, but I know how to process it. My system has the muscles and the neural pathways to deal with this. So it's so worth it. And I know this is really tough. I have been there.
Yeah.
um,
Would you like to invite to see if anyone wants to volunteer.
Yeah, I see some really great requests in the chat. If anyone would like to step forward and do some tapping with us, we would love that. If not, we'll do some tapping on the things in the chat. But if you'd like to tap with us, please raise your hand.
It's under reactions below the
React.
video or under ... on
Yeah,
phones and pads.
yeah.
*9 if you're on a telephone.
I see a hand here.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and ask you to unmute. Great.
Yes, Alexandra.
Hi, Alexandra.
Hi. Thank you. Is it me? Thank you. You and Rick
It's
say
breaking
the
up quite a
most
bit,
beautiful
unfortunately.
things. I feel like the healing has certainly begun. So I'm very
Wonderful.
pleased, grateful.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing, Alexandra.
Can you hear me at
You're
all if I
Yeah,
speak
you're breaking up. I heard the
more
gratitude, but I think
clearly?
yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and mute you. I'm so sorry, Alexandra. You're breaking up so
Can
badly
you hear
that
me happy?
I'm trying.
Yeah, it muted.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, unfortunately, we
Yeah.
can't hear you. We can't hear you well.
I,
See, it's still coming
you
in.
It's still
Yeah,
coming
can
in. Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Shall we go? I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I would love to work with you, Alexandra. Unfortunately, connection is not good enough.
yeah,
Rick, do you want to
yeah. Go
go?
ahead. No, you go ahead.
Hi, Wendy, if you'd like to unmute. Yay.
Can you hear me?
I can. I
Yes.
can hear you great.
Okay. I'm always amazed that my computer, you can actually hear me with my lid closed on my computer. Um,
So what's
uh,
for you?
so I'm just like amazed that I have so much general anxiety about this. I didn't even
Yeah.
realize I had it. I was doing my taxes right before this.
Yeah.
And then I actually just started crying when we came back, and I realized that, so I've been disabled for over 20 years
Okay.
and I'm on disability and I work part-time, and I realized I have to go back to work at it, even if it kills me,
Mm.
because the amount of money you're allowed to earn on disability is so little. And I live in an area where the rents went up 40% last year.
Yeah.
And my rent only went up 10%. But there were times last year where, I didn't have enough money for food.
Okay.
And I'm, I'm like terrified. And, like I'm doing okay right now,
Hmm.
but I'm just terrified. And it really is a case of like, I have to try to go back to work, and it could, it could really kill me. I just don't know. And I don't have any, like, I don't really know what my options are
Okay.
aside from that.
Okay.
And I
So
also feel like really stupid about investing too, because I feel like in
Let's pause.
2008.
Let's pause with
yeah.
Yeah,
that,
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
Wendy.
sorry,
Because
that's
if
enough.
you're
I
if you're
just
worried
have
about
I have like every
You're worried
single
about your
money
own
thing
survival.
is
Yeah.
is like a thing right now.
yeah.
So
So yeah,
so
that's
pause there and let's do some
yeah.
tapping with
Yeah,
Kathy.
Yeah. So just to be clear, if you're worried about money for food, you should not be investing. You just
yeah,
take care of
yeah,
basic needs first. And
yeah,
I do want to just honor that our in at least in the US, our government is not good at supporting people that are on disability.
yeah,
So I
yeah. I mean, I'm
just
in my 60s and I have savings, and I need it for like when I'm old. So
okay.
but it's not a lot. And I took it out of the stock market because I thought everything was going to in 2020.
Okay. Well, let's
And now I feel like stupid because,
Wendy,
it
it's
went
okay.
crazy. So that was my thing about that.
Okay. Okay. So let's just deal with where are you feeling the terror in your body?
It's really in my heart.
Okay.
It's in my upper chest.
Okay. And can you just put your hand on your chest and ask it what it's terrified? Just see if there's a short phrase or something that it's really triggered by.
I'm just terrified of being old and alone.
Okay. Karate chop. Even though I'm really terrified,
I'm really terrified.
and I feel that in my chest,
And I feel that in my chest.
in this moment, I'm actually okay.
In this moment, I'm actually okay.
Even though I'm terrified,
Even though I'm terrified.
I feel that terror in my body,
I feel a terror in my body.
and I'm very worried about the future.
I'm so worried about the future.
I do not want to be alone and old.
I don't want to be old and alone.
Right this minute, I'm not alone,
Right this minute, I'm not alone.
and I'm actually okay.
And I'm actually okay.
Top of the head, I feel all this terror.
I feel all this terror.
Eyebrow, hey, survival brain.
Hey, survival brain.
I actually understand what you're scared of.
I understand what you're scared of.
Side of the eye, and I'm paying attention.
And I'm paying attention.
Under the eye, the fear is not good for my body.
The fear is not good for my body.
Under the nose, all the stress is not good for my body.
All the stress is not good for my body.
Chin, and I notice that in this very moment,
I notice that in this very moment,
collarbone, I'm not alone with this issue.
I'm not alone with this issue.
Under the arm, there's a bunch of people tapping with me.
There's a bunch of people tapping with me.
Top of the head, it's kind of silly.
Kind of silly.
Eyebrow, and it can help calm me down.
It can help calm me down.
Side of the eye, which is very good for my body.
Which is very good for my body.
Under the eye, I am really worried.
I'm really worried.
Under the nose, and sometimes my only job might be to calm myself down.
Sometimes my only job might be to calm myself down.
Chin, I probably make better decisions if I'm calm.
I probably make better decisions if I'm calm.
Collarbone, and all that stress is hard on my body.
All that stress is really hard on my body.
Under the arm, I'm looking for unexpected and beautiful ways to move forward.
I'm looking for unexpected and beautiful ways to move forward.
Top of the head, hey universe,
Hey, universe,
please bring me delightful generosity
please bring me delightful generosity
and ease.
and ease.
And just take a gentle breath. How is your body feeling right this minute? See if you can stay in this present moment with us.
I'm like really hot.
Okay,
I'd like to move down to my stomach.
okay. Moving is good.
I'm feeling now. I'm feeling stupid for letting myself get so worked up about this again. Like I thought I was over feeling like this. I thought I'd gotten over feeling so stressed out about.
Let's just
Like I
tap
thought I was
around
done
on,
with this.
yeah, let's tap around on that. Because I don't know about you, but I have fingers pointing back to me on this one. Karate chop, even though I feel really stupid,
Even though I feel really stupid.
I thought I was done with this.
I thought I was done with this.
I thought I'd fix this.
I thought I'd fix this.
And here I am again.
And here I am again.
Maybe it's time to practice my compassion muscle.
Maybe it's time to practice my compassion muscle.
Top of the head, I don't want to.
I don't want to.
Eyebrow, I thought I'd fix this.
I thought I'd fix this.
Under the eye, here I am again.
Here I am again.
Under the eye, I guess I'll be here as many times as I need to heal this.
I guess I'll be here as many times as I need to heal this.
Under the nose, what if I'm being drawn back to heal unresolved issues?
What if I'm being drawn back to heal unresolved issues?
Chin, my body wants to heal.
My body wants to heal.
Collarbone, my heart and mind want to heal.
My heart and mind want to heal.
Under the arm, there are only as many tears as there are.
There's only as many tears as there are.
Top of the head. And if I'm back here, there's still something to heal.
From back here, there's still something to heal.
Just take a breath and notice how that feels to you. How, where's your anxiety or what thoughts are going on there?
Realize that a lot of things are just coming back. My mother died like 3 months ago, and a lot of all this stuff is coming down to feeling just really alone.
Yeah.
That I came across a check from my mother, and it was like, oh, I'm never going to get another gift from my mother. I'm that much more alone. I feel like there's a lot of things are just coming down to that now too.
Yeah. Wendy, I so
Yeah.
appreciate you bringing that up and sharing that. Intense grief, big changes in our lives can really bring up our sense of insecurity. And so I'd love to just do a quick, I know Rick wants to talk for a couple minutes about debt, but I'd love to do one more tapping with everyone just to invite signs that the universe loves you. Is that okay with you?
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you.
Karate chop. Hey, universe.
Hey, universe.
Things are kind of tough right now.
Things are really tough right now.
I have a lot of grief,
A lot of grief,
a lot of fear,
a lot of fear.
and I know that you love me,
And I know that you love me.
but I'd like lots and lots of proof, please.
Lots of proof, please.
Top of the head, could you send me lots of abundance?
Could you send me lots of abundance?
Eyebrow, could you show me that you love me in lots of ways?
Could you show me that you love me in lots of ways?
Side of the eye, and I can be pretty unobserving sometimes.
I could be pretty unobservant at times.
Under the eye, I'd really like you to send me gifts that I will really notice.
I'd really like you to send me some gifts that I really would notice.
Under the nose, that perfect parking spot.
That perfect parking spot.
Chin, the sun on my face.
Sun on my face.
Collarbone, different things that remind me that I'm loved.
Different things that remind me that I'm loved.
Under the arm, big and small.
Big and small.
Top of the head, I need a lot of this right now.
I need a lot of this right now.
Please help me notice what you send me.
Please help me notice what you send me.
And please send me a lot.
And please send me a lot.
And just take a deep breath. And I invite you to just be a little bit aware. I sometimes ask for neon flashing signs because I can just be totally like la-di-da and not notice. But I do find that when I ask for that, often I will get lots of little things that make my heart feel warm to help me remember that I'm not alone. And when you're going through a lot, something like this with your mom just passing, disability, inflation, a lot of times our number one goal is just to bring us back to somewhat calm, to calm the fear, because we don't make great decisions from that fear. So the more you can practice that muscle and get support at the center and on different calls, I think that will really help you. And I so appreciate you bringing this forward.
Thank you so much. That felt so sweet to do that ask. That I just would never think of doing that. So thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Wendy. I'm going to go ahead and mute you.
We're coming to the close of our allotted time, which is beautiful and right. And thank you, Kathy, for that sweetness. We do engage around these subjects, including like all the things that like I've said a number of times, and I've said it because it's a bit of a mantra for me. Money touches everything, and it's okay. I believe that as we change our energy, the touch of money in our lives can have a different complexion. Even especially the things that money doesn't necessarily touch directly, like the sun in our face and those other things of kindness that we can gift one another. thrivingnow.center, the replay link. If you're watching, we invite your questions, comments, ahas, shared wisdom, your stories, your requests for support. They matter to us. They matter as a community. And that's the place, our community center. There's circle calls, 6 a month at different time zones and days and the like. And we keep that affordable and generous too. thrivingnow.com/circle is where you can learn more about that. If you look at the email I sent about debt, debt is a part of this, this dynamic, but that we've touched on the things that matter, that if you are actively calming yourself and actively opening up to things that would give you some confidence about your life, about your connection, please know that you're part of a community and a circle of people that approaching it this way matters, that we're looking for ways of being around with our own financial creativity and our own financial needs that serve us and the people that are dear to us, and the people that we connect with in service to make money, and to give money in return for those services. Our emotional energy does matter. So if we can bring some kindness, compassion, and the grace that comes with just a little bit more calm and just a little bit more confident, that does echo and ripple out to our connected community and the world.
Yes, I love that. Thank you all for your courage and your joy and generosity today.
All right. Our email is open too, support@thrivingnow.com. Comes to both Kathy and I. So thanks and bye for now.
Bye, everyone. Blessings.